It's a football Saturday in the SEC. Here is the starting lineup. The man with the golden voice, sports savant, Kip Keefer. One of Birmingham's all-time most multi-talented, iconic broadcasters, Tony Curry. Four-time champion Paul Feinbaum show caller contributor, the legend. The illustrious First Lady of SEC football, Terry Quillian. Award-winning national sports handicapper from Las Vegas, Case Keefer. And now, let's talk football.
Camera. Welcome back to another wonderful starting lineup. I'm Tony Curry, Kip Keefer, and a happy new year. The 4-team playoff is set. National championship game coming up in Atlanta in just a few days. We're super excited about that. And of course, Bama fans have to lick their wounds, having been beat by Michigan not once but twice in the same year. Go figure. Our marquee games coming up, plus our 4-team playoff. We're going to dive into it this morning, my friend.
2025. Can you believe it, Tony Curry?
It's unbelievable, and it's hard to believe it. I was going back. I was talking to a friend of mine. I used to work every single New Year's Eve for like 30-something years.
Wow.
On New Year's Eve. And now a big old can of Chef Boyardee and an ice cream cone, and I'm in bed by 10:30. New Year's Eve rocks for me now. I like it. It's good.
Do they still make Chef Boyardee?
Oh, yeah. As long as they have bachelors, they have Chef Boyardee.
Oh, that's good to know.
It's good.
I'm going to start looking for that on my grocery shelves. Let's talk about football a little bit. You know, I don't think we saw any major surprises again. We talked about last week on the show, if Ohio State takes that same motivation they showed in that game where they boat raced Tennessee, they were going to beat Oregon in the rematch. I think we've said that pretty much all year. Well, they did beat them and beat them thoroughly. What a dominating first half.
They really did. Oregon, obviously. I went to that game. I actually liked Oregon in that game. I'm getting the number one team, a team that's been undefeated. They're getting points against Ohio State. I thought maybe that big old Michigan bummer.
Yeah.
And they obviously took that out on their first team of the playoffs. Didn't know if that was going to hang over even for the Oregon game, and it certainly did. They got out of the box really quick. You know, it's amazing, too. We even saw Texas do it. Now, we had a great game against Arizona State, but both those teams got out of the box really, really fast. And because of that, they could pull off a little bit and start playing their brand of football in the second half.
Texas is a weird team to me. What do you think? Talent-wise, they look like they're absolutely loaded, and they just have spurts in games where they're just can't get out of their own way.
They're the most consistent football team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
If you want to put inconsistency in a bottle, that is what Texas is. All year long, people talk about how consistent they are. They are consistent from an inconsistent standpoint. Quentin Ewers, though, the 4th and 13th play, he did what he had to do from a national championship. That we always talk about those national championship moments. He did what he had to do to put
that
Texas
fourth
in
down
position.
pass to keep the game going, that was unbelievable.
And of course, that's why overtime in college football is one of the most exciting overtimes, because you're sitting there thinking to yourself, okay, we've lost, we've won, we've lost, and now we win, and it's all in a course of about 35 seconds. Pretty amazing.
Just for old time's sake, can I bitch about the committee one more time?
Absolutely.
Okay, I've been saying all year, if I'm Oregon, I'm outraged. I was the number 1 seed, but Texas, the number 5 seed, got to play the lowest ranked team in the playoffs, Clemson. They played in the second game the second lowest ranked team, Arizona State, and guess what? Now they get to play Ohio State in Dallas, in the Cotton Bowl. It's a home game for Texas.
You should have the advantage by obviously having the bye week. 3 bye teams end up losing.
I mean, the number 5 spot is the Garden spot. They get to play 2 games in Texas in the playoffs on top of everything else, while Oregon got to play Ohio State in their only game.
Kip, the games are dwindling down every single week. It's time to take a look at our marquee matchups.
Well, the marquee matchup's pretty simple. We've got the Orange Bowl, Penn State, a 1.5-point underdog in that one. And of course, the other big game I just mentioned, the Texas Longhorns. Can they derail these Ohio State Buckeyes, who are on an unbelievable roll right now? They match up in the Jerry World facility in Arlington, Texas. Texas playing 2 de facto home games in the playoffs. These games, Tony, to me, we're going to have a great final, because these are the teams that kind of figured. You knew Oregon or Ohio State was going to be out. There's really not an interloper in these 4. No. All the teams that we thought didn't deserve to be in are long gone. So whatever happens this weekend, we're going to have a great final.
The fire coach day of rants are now over, as they probably should be. And boy, if you look at the run they're going to have to make to win a national title, if they can beat Texas after beating Oregon, then obviously having to win that next game for a national championship in Atlanta coming up in a few weeks, that will be one hell of a run for any football team to have to get through. We talk about winning 6 games in March Madness. To win those games for Ohio State Buckeyes would certainly entitle them to a national title.
So basically, it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see what the legend thinks about these matchups as we continue with the championship edition of the starting lineup.
The marquee matchup I'm looking at today, Ohio State and Texas. Texas has been playing with its food all year and then feasting at the end. The problem is you cannot play with Ohio State. You play with Ohio State, Texas, and you're going to get curb stomped. I can't wait to see it. It's the marquee matchup I'm excited about. Now out to Vegas to a man that's always excited, Mr. Case Keeper.
Yes, I kicked the ball, but trust me, in reality, I am kicking myself. Now, almost every week I come on here and say, I hope you're reading my stuff at LasVegasSun.com. I hope that extra this week, and I hope you actually took some of the advice that I was too stupid to take myself. Every week in the Sunday Sweats weekend column, I give a look-ahead bet. My look-ahead bet this week I thought was easy. College football playoff semifinals before the quarterfinals went off. I thought Ohio State should be bigger than a 1.5-point favorite against Texas. Wrote it up, ultimately forgot to bet it. Now the number at 6.5, and I am beside myself. Can't believe I didn't get in on that. I thought it would open the other side of 3. Never did I think the 2 games would play out like this and be all the way in 6.5. I'm probably going to stay away from this game now, but to be honest, that is a really high number. I kind of have a problem where I go against these impenetrable teams and they end up killing me at the end of playoffs, so I'm trying to keep myself away, but I think Texas has a little more chance than to be a touchdown underdog. We'll have to see in the college football semifinals.
Step back into the groove and then into the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Check this out. It's all happening here.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino is the local place to win.
Good times right here.
Let the Birmingham Racecourse Casino bring the good times to you. The Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where the good times roll.
Where you could be a winner too. Yeah, boy.
And in the Coach's Corner today, we have Kalen DeBoer, fresh off the loss to Michigan. Ouch, that really hurt. I hate to see Alabama losing to Michigan and a Big Ten team. It was also painful to watch the way that the loss unfolded. I found it interesting that after the game, so many Alabama fans are furious with Jalen Milroe, but not with Kalen DeBoer. And yet I wonder, who put together the game plan? Jalen Milroe doesn't put together the offensive game plan. That's Nick Sheridan and Kalen DeBoer. And why would you have what is arguably one of the most talented, athletic running quarterbacks in the country, and yet you have him dropping back and standing like a statue and trying to make multiple reads downfield? Obviously, that wasn't working. I'd love to understand more of those things, but you really didn't get any illumination from the Kalen DeBoer press conference. Frankly, it's hard to understand much of anything he said because it was a lot of word salad. I heard once again all about J-Mill. I really wish he would just treat Milroe like his quarterback instead of the J-Mill thing that sounds like it's his best friend. And once again, just like he did earlier this season, Coach DeBoer was talking about how, you just don't know what some of those players are going through and the sacrifices that they're making and the pain that they're playing through. Okay, sure, but isn't that the case at this point in the season on most teams? I think most teams have players who are playing through pain and dealing with some difficult things by this time in the season. That kind of obscure word salad-y thing doesn't really tell me much about what's going on. It's also interesting to me, some of the, what I would call the Kalen DeBoer apologists, who want to say, hey, it's okay, he only went 9-4, despite the fact that the last time Alabama didn't win 10 games was in 2007. But hey, DeBoer's okay, because that was the record. Nick Saban didn't win 10 games in his first season at Alabama in 2007. But the circumstances are radically different. As everybody knows, when Nick Saban took over the year before, the team had only won 6 games, whereas Kalen DeBoer inherited a team that won the SEC championship and played in the 4-team national championship. So things aren't the same. I'd love to understand more about what the plan is going forward and how Alabama is going to be better next year. but I sure didn't hear that from Kalen DeBoer. Hoping things get better. Roll Tide.
Hey, welcome to the Legend Cave. We ain't happy down here. You hear us, Coach DeBoer? We ain't happy down here. I got the great Kip Keeper here in the cave with me, and we just getting back from the Spark Plug Bowl where Michigan, can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? Can you believe it? Michigan beat us the third double. We've been favored by more than 14 points against 3 teams this year. And again, Coach DeBoer bored us again. Kip, what's going on? What's going on, brother?
Legend. 3 turnovers, 3 straight possessions. Ridiculous. The Alabama defense manned up and held them to 1 touchdown. It could have been much worse. But you cannot cough the ball up 3 straight times in the first quarter and expect to win a game, even against a Michigan team that had 28 guys not playing this game.
Good grief.
And even worse, their quarterback got
heard that, bear?
Legend, their quarterback got hurt the second play of the second half. They had a guy in there that you and I could have run the show better. He threw 1 pass and it was picked off. You knew they were going to do nothing but run the ball, and Alabama can't stop them and prevent that clinching field goal. This is one of the worst Alabama losses. I thought the Oklahoma game was bad. This one, I don't have any explanation for.
I tell you what it is. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I hate to say it, ladies and gentlemen. I thought I'd never say it. I thought I'd never let these words come out of my mouth.
Easy, big fella.
Help me. Alabama is a basketball school. We're a basketball school! We're a basketball school! That's what you've done, Coach DeBoer. Come back, Coach Saban, come back!
During the Nick Saban era, remember what everybody said when basketball season started? I don't care about basketball. Not the case anymore.
Yeah, you know, it used to be the Sons of Saban. Now it's the Sons of Oats.
Quaker Oats.
Thank God for Mark Sears. Thank God for Coach Oats. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to say. This is embarrassing. This is not Alabama football. I don't know what this was this year. You know, this guy looks like a slimmed down version of Mike DeBose. That's what Coach DeBoer looks like. He looks like a thin Mike DeBose. As we go into year 2, Kipper, give me some hope. Give me something to hold on to.
Well, they had to have learned a lot this year, and I don't know. I mean, as good as Jalen Milroe looked like a fit for his offense, they tried to make him a kind of stand-up pocket passer, Legend. That's not his game. The best game they played all year was against LSU, where Jalen just ran wild. The first half of the Georgia game, Jalen ran wild. That's who he was. What is this standing in the pocket with the offensive line who's so too big and too slow to protect him? I just don't understand their mindset. I hope they learn something and get a mobile quarterback and actually use them as a mobile quarterback and not try to make them something they're not. That's just a terrible coaching job this year.
Let's just say this and say it like it is. Coach DeBoer, year 1, you get a D+.
Ouch.
You don't get many of those at Alabama, brother. Now, they're going to give you a pass. Greg Byrne, you on the clock too, Greg Byrne. And why did we put Ty Simpson in the game? Well, why is even Ty Simpson? I'm saying I'm out of here, man. I mean, why didn't Ty Simpson get a snap, Kipper? Why 1 snap for Ty Simpson?
I don't understand. He's a 5-star, and he's just standing over there collecting moss. I got a question. I was in the grocery store after the Alabama game. I was in the dairy section, and on the milk carton, there's a picture of Ryan Williams. He's missing. What the hell's going on there? They didn't target him the whole second half of the season.
I don't know what happened to Ryan Williams. It's like he just disappeared. You're right, like he on a milk carton. I see the guy at Ohio State. He's just getting better
Jeremiah
and better.
Smith, and he was late.
And Ryan, he was at Hollywood. And now all the lights just kind of went out. I don't know. But it's a mess, ladies and gentlemen. This is unacceptable, Coach DeBoer. This is unacceptable, dude. You better get your act together. You need to run Nick Sheridan out of town. That's where Nick Sheridan needs to go. He needs to go to Wake Forest, Duke. I don't care, Connecticut, wherever. Let's get him out of town. He's stupid. Kick out. I'm getting Carter Kipper. Getting Carter Kipper.
Well,
if we're here next year, what happens to Coach DeBoer? Is there a U-Haul down there, Kipper?
I think he's probably had several delivered. He needs to get a real offensive coordinator. I was worried when Ryan Grubb left right before the season. This guy's not up to the task. Somebody needs to send him a memo. You're allowed to hand the ball off and run it too every once in a while, aren't you, Lynch?
You are.
And your quarterback can run?
Yeah,
That's legal?
That's legal, Kipper.
Oh, unbelievable.
Hey, we got to get out of here. Let this man remember it's just a game. Don't be like Alabama football, Kipper and the legend.
Sports insane.
Hey, our thoughts and prayers continue to go out with all of our friends and family down in New Orleans. And of course, a good friend of ours, Stuart Rome, who's been on the show many times with the Woodhouse Day Spa. He actually owned the Woodhouse Day Spa down in New Orleans for years and years and years. It won a calls all kinds of awards until he opened up his location here in Birmingham. I spoke with him right after the tragedy down there, and our thoughts and prayers go out with you, and we continue to pray for you and think about you. He does have the location here in Birmingham. Now everyone needs to use these gift cards. He sold millions of dollars with a gift card for the Woodhouse Day Spa, and he's killing it. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Now you've got the Woodhouse Day Spa card. Now use it. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Check him out. Also want to thank our fine folks at Spy for Rent. 790-3051, 790-3051. Surveillance, bug sweeps, child custody, divorces, anything you need information on an individual, on a business, on an insurance company, Spy for Rent. Corey, Jeff, and the entire crew, they're there for you. 790-3041 or spy4rent.com.
Also want to remind you, we've got sister programs on the radio. Jocks 94.5 every Saturday morning. It is Kip and Terry Game Time, our brand new show this year from 8 to 10. 94.5 FM or wherever you stream the Jock Signal. We are killing it on that show. We have developed all kinds of new listeners. It's been extremely popular. Thank you for everybody supporting us all season long as we wind down this college football season. And the staple program on Jocks 94.5 is The Morning After. 8 years we've been on reporting on what you saw on the field on Saturday and giving you your first opportunity to react to what you saw. The show is going strong. We appreciate all of the support, and you can always catch up with any of our programs at our website where all of these shows go to be put up for instant access. It is kqshows.com.
Hey, it's Case Kiefer. I'm the assistant sports editor for Greenspun Media Group, which includes the Las Vegas Sun and Las Vegas Weekly. Longtime sports bettor and sports betting writer, back once again for my Vegas Heaters section, which, to be frank, hasn't been too hot lately. I think we've had 3 straight losing weeks on this segment, 1 and 2 last week. That brings the total on the Vegas Heaters since we started this video version, at least at the beginning of football season, to 32 and 28. Still, you take my picks on the show as a whole. We're at 61 and 49, strong profit. Let's try to end the football season strong and go into 2025 strong. 2024, despite kind of tailing off at the end, was a banner year for the show here. I gave out a ton of long shot bets, Stanley Cup exacta, 3 golf majors we hit. More on that later, but hopefully 2025 can be just as good. We'll have to improvise a little bit since there's not a whole lot of college football to talk about betting-wise, and we're kind of talking about the Texas-Ohio State game elsewhere on the show. But we do lead into football again this week. It's just NFL football, and I do have one play I like today. It is on the late game, Pittsburgh-Cincinnati. Now, if you've read my stuff at LasVegasSun.com, this will probably surprise you because I have been riding this Bengals train. I've been betting them just about every week, and I've gotten lucky a couple times, but usually they have come through in the last couple months. This offense is just humming, but I'm going to pump the brakes today, even though I know they're in a must-win situation. Pittsburgh just destroyed them 4 weeks ago. I mean, they outgained them by more than 2 yards per play. That game was never close. I was on Cincinnati there. That was one time they didn't come through. I don't see why they couldn't do it again. They're at home now, an underdog, plus 2.5, the best price in the market at the time of recording. They've just run through a gauntlet. They lost to the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Eagles, probably 3 of the best teams in the NFL. I think now's the time to buy low. They're actually a little healthier than the Bengals, which is even different than the first time around. So I like Pittsburgh to eliminate Cincinnati here before we get to Sunday's slate, where we will go to a correlated game, but I'm actually, maybe kind of hedging. I'm taking an uncorrelated side because I like the Chargers playing here in Las Vegas right now, a 4.5 point favorite at the Raiders, especially if I'm wrong and the Steelers lose, then the Chargers really need to win this game because they can get up to the 5 seed, which comes with that game at Houston. But either way, 4.5 is just not enough to me. I think the Raiders are getting a lot of credit for beating up on the Saints and the Jaguars, and they have looked impressive. They are playing hard, but I think this Chargers roster is way better, and I just don't see Jim Harbaugh taking his foot off the gas. I mean, I think I love football. I think a lot of you probably love football. I don't know if anyone loves football as much as Jim Harbaugh. I don't think he's going to take it easy on a divisional rival. Give me the Chargers minus 4.5. And lastly, one more NFL play we're going to get to. I opened the show earlier talking about how I was kicking myself for not making an Ohio State look-ahead bet. There's also one other NFL bet I wrote up this year in the Las Vegas Weekly when I gave out a bunch of divisional plays that I just cannot believe I didn't bet myself. That was the Minnesota Vikings to win the NFC North at 15-1, I believe. I never quite got to the betting window, and I can't believe it because I think they're winning the NFC North. I think they beat the Lions today. They're a 3-point underdogs. The official play here will be Minnesota +3. But this Detroit defense, they're winning every game 45-30. Get all these games in the 40s. I just don't think that's going to work long term. I think they're so beaten up. The Lions are the best team in the NFL at full strength, but they're kind of throwing fire on the Flames this week. The cornerback saying they can cover these Minnesota receivers. I think the Minnesota receivers are so good. I think that they're going to have to win another one of these games in the 40s, and I just trust Minnesota's coaching staff to find the right paths to do it. I just don't love the Lions going forward. I like what the Vikings are doing. Wouldn't be surprised at all if they reach the Super Bowl, and I think the first step would be getting home field advantage. That starts today, where they are a 3-point underdog. Minnesota +3 to go with the Chargers minus 4.5 and the Steelers +2.5. Now quickly, it was about this time last year where I gave out Scotty Scheffler to win the Masters at 10-1. I said that was way too high. We cashed that to start a great golf year, and I'm diving back into the Masters futures again. I have 3 bets I already made. I'm going to give up 2 of them here because one, kind of dealing with an injury unsure of. Speaking of injuries, it's not this guy, but Scotty Scheffler had hand surgery, a freak accident on Christmas Day. I guess he got a bunch of shards of glass in his palm. I think that makes this the time to bet the Masters. Yeah, sure, he's going to come back. He's probably going to be fine, but still, the prices on him are going to start to drop. There's going to be some ramp-up period. It's going to get higher, and that means the other guys that I think are going to be contenders aren't going to be as high as they are now. This one will be a fan favorite down there in Alabama, but an Alabama graduate, Justin Thomas at 40-1. I feel like a lot of times he's a super popular pick in majors, but he kind of had a bad year last year. I think a lot of that was randomness luck, though. He seems like a Masters champion to me. Justin Thomas, 40-1. And finally, no one wants to back this guy in majors. That's why you're getting such a good price. Rory McIlroy, 14-1 to win the Masters. Are you kidding me? He's getting the career Grand Slam. He's better than ever at age 35. Him and Scotty just beat up on Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau in the match here in Las Vegas. And Rory was actually the best player on that course at Shadow Ridge. It's going to be Rory at 14-1 and Justin Thomas at 40-1 looking ahead to the Masters. Thanks as always for checking out Vegas Heaters.
The Legend Brothers on fire this year. David Legend has statues of him down there in Walker County. He's been so on fire. I hate to go against a man that I love, Mr. Kip Keefer. I love that man, but I see an all Big Ten final. I got Penn State big. I got Ohio State big. I hated SEC, but it's an all Big Ten final. Now out to Mr. Case Keeper.
Well, I know everyone's excited for Thursday and Friday, the college football playoff semifinals, but as a reminder, a big game Monday too, especially for us. We're riding a future on Montana State from a couple weeks ago at +180 to win the FCS championship. They are a 3-point favorite against North Dakota State in the championship game. No really play here, a slight lean to the under 56.5, but just want to say go Montana State. As far as Ohio State, Texas, the matchup I'm going to be watching, the matchup that Texas must win and dominate to pull off the shocker. I think it's the depth of their defensive line against the thin Ohio State offensive line. Ohio State's offensive line's playing good. It looks like a good makeshift unit, but I do think Texas, if they're at their best, could make them vulnerable there, could exploit that weakness. That's going to be something to watch. I'm hoping the Longhorns can pull it off, but I'm not all that confident. I'd have to go with Ohio State outright.
Starting lineup rolling here, the holiday New Year's edition, if you will, in 2025.
Yes.
I cannot believe it.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year to everybody. Again, our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone down in New Orleans.
Oh, man.
Everyone be affected by everything that's going on in this country. That's not the way we want to start at 2025. We do want to start with some great college football, and I know you have a couple of best bets. The games are dwindling down. This is where it gets really difficult. The lines get really, really tight.
Yeah.
But that's why you are who you are.
I think Ohio State's on too big a roll, Tony, and Texas is just too inconsistent. I think if this game was any place else other than Jerry World in Dallas, Ohio State would probably run them out of the stadium. But Texas, once again, the number 5 seed, which obviously is the best place to be, as we talked about at the top here. Texas playing a de facto home game I think they'll keep it close, but I still think the Buckeyes win and cover in this game because they're just playing at an elite level. And I mentioned last week on the show, Ohio State has the rare blend of all these guys that grow up in the Rust Belt and dream about playing for Ohio State. These blood and guts guys that would play till they literally drop. And you've also got that combined with all of the most elite free agents in the sport. They spent $21 million to buy players in the offseason. This is just a perfect storm, and Ryan Day's finally getting out of the way and letting them play. I think the Michigan game was such an embarrassment. I think it's fueled and galvanized this team. They're on a mission. I think they're going to win the whole thing as much as I can't stand the Big Ten. So that is a pain in my heart to say. I think they handle Texas. And on the other side, I think Penn State's done a great job to get where they are, but I'm going against the Nittany Lions in the Orange Bowl. I think it's...
you can't go both Big Ten teams.
I can't,
You can't go Big Ten on both. You can't.
You might have to put me on suicide watch if it's Ohio State, Penn State in the finals.
I've been saying this like the last 8 or 9 weeks. I've been going against Penn State every single week because I don't like Franklin. I don't get this football team. We know he's like 1-27 against top 5 teams. And
they're boring.
So I said I'd take any team against Penn State, and I will do that again in the national championship. Ohio State, it's hard to believe. I've got my brother and my sister who went to school up there at the SHU up at Ohio State, and they said, listen, it doesn't matter whether we win a national championship or not. We must beat Michigan year in, year out. I got news for you. My brother called me yesterday and said, it really doesn't matter whether we beat Michigan as long as we win a national title. And
Change your focus, folks.
I think they will get that done. If they beat Oregon, and they beat Texas, is the most consistent team, and I know a lot of people aren't real crazy about their coach either, Sarkisian. He's kind of got a snarky little thing going on for him right now. A lot of people don't like what Texas is doing. Texas, man, they've been getting it done. I mean, they have won the plays. The 4th and 13 was one of those, oh my goodness, there's your moment you've been looking for to win a national title. So maybe that's going to be enough to get it done. Got to mention Alabama. They lose to Michigan not once, but twice in the same year. I totally forgot the bowl game earlier this year. And of course, what they did in the first quarter of their bowl game was unlike anything we'd ever seen from an Alabama team. First time since 2007, they don't win double-digit games. Your thoughts?
Well, we just heard from Legend. He's concerned, and I got to tell you, I'm concerned. If I'm an Alabama fan, I just don't know what the program is down there. That was a shameful performance, and you would think that it was something that once they got kind of the wheels back on, they were in position. They got the late score in the first half, 16-10. The game's right in front of them. They do nothing in the second half at all, and Michigan loses their quarterback on the second play. That guy that went in threw one pass, Tony, it was intercepted. You knew the entire last half of the second half that Michigan was not going to do anything but run the ball, and for the Alabama defense to allow them to drive 45 yards to kick the clinching field goal, if I'm an Alabama fan, I am extremely concerned today.
We'll be back next Saturday, getting after it, 10:30, 11 o'clock, every single Saturday morning on the starting lineup right here on ABC 3340. We've got March Madness coming up. We've got hoops, the NFL playoffs, and more. But right now,
Alabama and Auburn may be the 2 best teams in the country in college basketball.
Let's have them match up in a bracket challenge.
Let's do it.
Step back into the groove and then into the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Check this out. It's all happening here.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino is the local place to win.
Good times right here.
Let the Birmingham Racecourse Casino bring the good times to you. The Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where the good times roll.
Where you could be a winner too. Yeah, boy.